Greetings, I'm Zachary Hefner, pleased to share this Dvar Torah with you for Parashat Vayechi. C.S. Lewis's second book in the Chronicles of Narnia is Prince Caspian, or the third depending on the chronology. More than 1,000 years had passed since the death of Jadis, the White Witch, around the year 1000. She had tyrannically ruled over Narnia before getting mauled to death by the god figure Aslan. Years after the four human protagonists who had ruled over Narnia justly had returned to their earthly homes, leaving Narnia in a power vacuum, the hegemony is usurped by the wicked TELMARINE humans, who tormented the indigenous anthropomorphic animals for many generations. During the Narnian Revolution, against these humans, a hag, a werewolf, and a dwarf attempt to resurrect the White Witch, claiming that she had never died, and using dark magic, they attempt to resurrect the White Witch Jadis, with the intentions that Jadis's return will rid Narnia of the wicked humans. Ironically, the White Witch was considerably more tyrannical than the humans, but the animals' exhaustion and desperation had led them to this recourse. Fortunately, in the book, the four original humans return. They interrupt the ritual. Order and bliss is returned to Narnia. Jadis does not return, and we never know if the black magic could have worked. Parenthetically and unrelated, this story resonates with the narrative of Saul and the witches of Endor. I believe this fictional narrative sheds light to the ultimate question about the questionable behavior of our most beloved and well-known person in Tanakh, and that is David HaMelech. David, by an order of magnitude, is the most well-known and discussed figure in Tanakh. So much is known about him in contrast to lesser-known Tanakh personalities. He's also really complicated. He has his spiritual ups and downs. He endures challenge, and he is the model par excellence of repentance. The last and ultimate narrative in David's lifetime is the message he charges Solomon, soon to be King Solomon. In 1 Kings chapter 2, verse 8, V'hinei imcha Shimi ben Gera hayemanit mi Bachurim. You must also deal with Shimi, the son of Gera, the Benjamite, from Bachurim. He insulted me outrageously when I was on my way to Machanaim. But he came down to meet me at the Jordan, and I swore to him by God, I will not put you to the sword. So do not let him go unpunished. For you are a shrewd man, and you will know how to deal with him, and send his gray hair down to Sheol in blood. This sounds like something from The Godfather. King David charges his son to finish the job, in the mafia sense. Finish the job with Shimi ben Gera, the Benjamite. Shimi had insulted King David years ago during the Absalom rebellion, while David was absconding from Absalom post-haste. At that time, David swore not to kill him. But why make that his last imperative to charge young Solomon? The attempted resurrection of the White Witch in Prince Caspian could shed light with David's wish to kill Shimi. Note that these animals are living at least 1,000 years after this witch had been killed, yet they maintained some cultural tradition that perhaps she was not really dead. Do you remember the good old days when the White Witch was in charge and there were no humans tormenting animals? While the White Witch was dead, the mythos and culture surrounding the witch was still alive, even 1,000 years later. Shimi ben Gera was a nobleman from Binyamin. He went after David's honor at a time that David was the most vulnerable. Remember the good old days when the tribe of Binyamin had King Saul? Those were the good old days, and maybe, just maybe, those days will be restored, and Binyamin won't take second fiddle to Judah. It might even take 1,000 years, but eventually Binyamin's kingship will return. King David was able to stay killing Shimi at the time of the insult because Shimi was just a person. But there was no way for Shlomo to maintain the unified throne of 12 tribes with the culture Shimi brought to the royal palace, or to those in his sphere of influence. Shimi had made it plainly clear that he will civilly support David after the rebellion of Avshalom, but he will not morally support him. C.S. Lewis never gave his readers any second coming of the White Witch, but the suspense of a possible second coming may have left the reader unsettled throughout the series, and there might be some unfinished business with this White Witch. With David HaMelech, he charged Solomon, finish the job. With the untimely death of Shimi, as headlines in the newspaper, it will end the notion of a future Binyamin king. Young Shlomo, you must become the unified leader of Yehuda and all the tribes of Israel. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom.